There's a new me coming out, and I just have to live, and I wanna give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I am gonna do it like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out of the shell. I have to shout that I am coming out. I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
Welcome to the show, Never Too Late Ever, where we focus on making the next chapter of your life the very best chapter ever. Doesn't that sound great? I am your host, Lorraine Hoving, and I am so glad you are here. And you know, I wanted to say today to my audience, I am glad you are here, because over the last months, you have been here for me, and I want to say thank you. This day could change your life. Open your heart, open your ears, and listen. You may find a gem, a treasure that you can apply to your life today. And I want to emphasize that, because when we open our eyes to see what's around us, we'll be amazed. And I am so delighted for our guest today. Her name is Adri Kyser, and she is just wonderful. I've actually got her website up on my computer, and she is just gorgeous. By the way, Adria, welcome, and what a lovely picture of you on your website.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited and blessed to be here with all of you today.
Great. Fabulous. So let me get started, and I'll tell you a little bit about Adri. Adri Kyser is a holistic wellness expert coach, and she's a motivational speaker. She is the founder and creator of Inner Beauty Wellness and Enlightened Alchemy, helping over 4,500 men and women reduce stress. Now that sounds like a plan. Improve their health and mindset for the past 15 years. She's a sought-out authority on a variety of topics, including holistic wellness, women empowerment, cultivating a positive mindset, healing from emotional trauma, mindfulness, and wellness in the workplace. Adria is also an international yoga teacher, which I just love, and mentor with numerous certifications in diverse holistic modalities. She has been featured by several incredible fitness and wellness brands, and her expertise has appeared in a number of publications, both in print and online. Welcome, Adri.
Thank you so much. That's such a wonderful introduction. So thank you.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about your background. I kind of like to know a little bit of your backstory. We'll start there, and then we'll go into some of the things that you've been working on. So what's a little bit of a backstory on you? And we'll start there.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. I believe we all have encountered moments in our lives where a decision can either make us or break us. And one of the most impactful memories and painful memories I had as a child is my aunt asking me, "Who do you think you are?" I'm in my grandma's bedroom when I hear my aunt's voice. She's in a bad mood, and I know all too well what this means: the physical and emotional abuse, the yelling and screaming. I hear her footsteps approaching. I look up and she's towering over me. She asked me a question, but she doesn't like my answer. "Who do you think you are, you stupid little girl?" As she pulls my hair and slaps my face. But in that moment, I knew I had to fight back. I knew I had to do something for myself if I wanted the beating to stop. And I'm sure you and everybody listening has experienced some type of pain in their life, pain from heartbreak, failure, disappointment, or even abuse. And what you and I have in common is that we cope with pain the best we can with the tools we have at any given time.
Hey, can I interrupt you just for what age were you at this time?
I was probably around 7 to 8 years old.
Okay. And you knew it was wrong, and you knew it was time to stand up for yourself, correct?
Well, this been it wasn't the first time. So
Right.
finally that day, I was like, enough, like something within me, this little girl finally said, this
Mm.
needs to end, because nobody in my family knew. When a child is abused, we feel it's our fault. And despite my aunt, she's older than me, she's a person of authority, so to speak. So I figured it was something I did. There was something wrong with me, and also I was threatened. Don't say anything. You know what I mean? So uh,
Okay.
nobody knew that was happening until that day. I mean, something within myself said, either you're going to continue to take this or you have to do something, and I did. And that's the moment I finally fought back, and the whole thing, as I fought back, my grandma finally, she walks into the room. She didn't know. She walks into the room and she comes to defend me, and I can see my aunt ready to charge my grandma. And again, as a child right there, I looked around and I grabbed a broom and I stood between my grandma and her, and I said, you touched my grandma. And I don't even remember the exact words, but pretty much I was ready to break that broom, hit her with a broom.
Yes. Yeah.
So I became, I don't like to call myself a victim. I was a survivor, but in that moment also I became a protector. I wasn't going to let my aunt hit my grandma like she was hitting me. So in that moment is when I said, this is my moment. Either I become defined by this, or this is the moment where I step in and change it. And that's the beginning of my journey. So but as a child, I only had certain amount of tools I could
Right.
use to cope with the
Right.
pain. So
Right.
for me, that meant burying all those painful memories and emotions that eventually led to so much pain. For some people right now listening might be eating their way through their feelings they don't want to feel, or perhaps is waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning full of stress and worries. But after suffering from chronic pain for over a decade and trying different conventional treatments just to find temporary relief, I knew I had to go deeper. I knew if I wanted to achieve long lasting results, I had to address the emotional and the mental aspects of myself, and not just the physical pain. I was not ready for a future where I had to be taking medication like I was eating candy just to manage my pain. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Because what it was is you had at that point when you were 7 years old, you realized, like you said, that you were not a victim, but at the same time, as children, and this kind of happened in my life too, some of the trauma in my life, you do not have the tools unless maybe an adult was there to give you some tools. But if you don't have the tools to handle that situation, then you tend to bury it. And you're saying that you came out. Now, how old were you when you started to realize, well, there's some deep things in there
mhm.
uh, that you need to take care of in order to experience real freedom? How old were you then?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because my coping mechanism was to put up a strong front.
Right.
My coping mechanism was to create a wall of protection around me, and act like I was strong. I didn't need anybody. I was confident. So I bury, and to be honest with you, I bury all those memories. I didn't grow up thinking about my abuse. I didn't grow up thinking I was a victim or anything. But all those memories and emotions led to chronic back pain for over a decade. It also led to feeling unworthy, because I've been told many times I wasn't good enough. I went to law school for a few years in Venezuela, where I'm from. And when I moved to the US, I encountered racist remarks about being an immigrant with an accent, which led to no speaking in public, or actually to anybody except my husband and my mom, for 3 months. And
I
again,
remember, yeah, I remember you telling me that when we met, that
yeah,
you didn't speak for 3 months while you were here. By the way, I love Venezuela and Brazil and all of that. Is all the fun, the food, the family, and the dancing. That's great. But Yeah, you mentioned that you didn't speak for 3 months because you were kind of made fun of, or yeah, yeah.
Yes,
So then
that
how
was
did you get over that?
so, well, I was so self-conscious. But then one day, I think it's either how I was raised or the Latin American fire within me. It's like,
Yes.
one day I woke up and be like, you know what? At least I speak multiple languages. Let me see what happens if you try to speak Spanish. And but for me, my journey really started when, out of the need to heal from the chronic pain, because I had tried so many conventional treatments and it wasn't helping. So holistic wellness was the first moment when I realized that the mind, body, and emotions were connected. And as I started diving into this new path, I recognized my coping mechanism of acting super strong, being super confident, yet still feeling like I wasn't good enough, like I wasn't worthy, being embarrassed about my accent or being different. So it wasn't overnight. It was almost like what I call divine intervention, when I realized that in order for me to heal from the inside out, in order for me to have long lasting results and continue to build a thriving career, I had to do my inner work. So in those moments where I was like, there has to be more than this, there has to be more than pain. And the scene was that it was when I was playing with my son. He probably was around 7 or 8 years old, the same age I
Hmm.
was when I stood up to my aunt. So I was playing with him, and all of a sudden I got this flash memories of that day started to come in. So again, I didn't live my life thinking about the abuse until that moment. And as those flash memories come in, my pain intensified so much more that I had to go, like my family had to help me get into the car to go to a chiropractor. And
Mm.
I remember he gave me some shots to help me with the pain. And this is that moment, it's like, okay, this needs to come to an end. I cannot continue to live this way. And I already was a yoga teacher. I need my body to teach, So it was a very humbling moment, but at the same time, it was very powerful because I had the choice to be a byproduct of my past, or I had the choice to be a phoenix rising from the ashes. And that's exactly what I did. I rose, and I use my story now to help other women in similar situations. And that's how for the past 15 years, that's what I've been doing. I've been helping men and women worldwide become aware and release those emotional hurts, those negative patterns, so they can step fully into their power and transform their pain into purpose, their fears into confidence. And
Yes.
and that's what I discovered through my work with my clients. I found those 4 key components to lasting health, happiness, and fulfillment, which are physical health, how you take care of your body. Number 2, mental wellness, how you perceive the world. Number 3, emotional intelligence, how you experience the world. And number 4, spiritual connection, how you feed your soul. Again, mind, body, and emotions are connected. And what people fail to realize, that what you experience on the outside is a reflection of what's happening on the inside. So your I see very clearly the relationship between your physical, mental, emotional health today to how it's impacting the health of your relationships, the health of your business, the health of your finances, the health of everything that surrounds you.
Right, right. And I think that people tend to separate all that, and they don't make the connections. They don't connect the dots. And it's just like me with like I was 130 pounds overweight. It was until I dealt with my past and realized that I've been stuffing emotions for all those years. Now,
Mm.
yours came out in a chronic back pain, which is, some people think, well, this is just a back pain. But all of these symptoms can be related to some emotions that we have stuffed. So you said that, so how would you say, so somebody's out there and they've had trauma from their past, and they know that they have not totally dealt with it. how do they start? Like if they want to start today, they say, help, I feel like I'm drowning. I'm drowning in this, and I'm beginning to realize that this is the key to unleashing my freedom. Where do they begin?
I will say the first step is making